Hare Krishna. In the previous session, we discussed Yudhishthira's request to Vyasa to explain how the Ashwamedh Yajna should be performed, how many Brahmanas are required, how much charity should be given, and what kind of horse is required. Vyasa explained in return what kind of horse is required. Vyasa also explained what kind of charity should be given, and Vyasa recommended that the Ashwamedh Yajna be performed with Asipatra Vrata, which I explained earlier in that same session, and how a placard should be there attached to the horse, giving the message on behalf of the king who is performing the Ashwamedh Yajna. Now Vyasa is saying that Ashwamedh Yajna yields a great benefit, great virtue. That means that Yajna becomes very virtuous if it is performed with Asipatra Vrata. Vyasa is saying that in the past Indra performed 100 Ashwamedh Yajnas, and that's how he got the lordship of gods. That means that's how he became Indra. Even to perform one Ashwamedh Yajna is quite difficult. Nowadays, we people of Kali Yuga are not much aware about the Karma Kanda section of the Vedas. We are not aware about pretty much anything of the Vedic scriptures. But especially the Karma Kanda part, these yajnas used to be quite complex and very demanding. The mantras had to be chanted perfectly. The Brahmana should be very pure. There are specific instructions how the mantra should be chanted and what kind of dravyas, the ingredients are required in the yajna, how the arena of the sacrifice should be arranged, how the Vedi should be arranged, what kind of bricks are required. There were so many specific requirements, and even to perform one Ashwamedh Yajna was very difficult actually. So you can imagine Indra performed such 100 Ashwamedh Yajnas perfectly, and then he became Indra. So it's difficult. But Vyasa is saying that Indra performed the Ashwamedh Yajna without observing Asipatra. Because to perform Ashwamedh Yajna along with Asipatra is quite difficult, because as I explained earlier, one has to conquer Kamadeva in order to perform Ashwamedh Yajna along with Asipatra Vrata. So it's usually, Vyasa is saying that usually people, those who perform Ashwamedh Yajna, do it without following or observing Asipatra Vrata. But Vyasa is saying that if you perform the Ashwamedh Yajna while observing Asipatra, you will be able to make the entire earth free from any sort of sin. Entire earth, that means entire Bhumandala, or at least entire Jambudvip, which is quite big. That if I get a chance in future, I will explain in nutshell the geography of Jambudvipa. So only people like Bhishma, who could conquer Kamdeva, could perform Ashwamedh Yajna along with Asipatra. So if you feel that you are competent to perform Ashwamedh Yajna along with observing Asipatra, then you should perform this sacrifice. Yudhishthira said, in regard to Ashwamedha, I find myself quite helpless actually, because neither I have money nor horse, nor are there any helpers. I have nothing. We are talking about the big sacrifice here, big yajna, Ashwamedh Yajna, which is a big endeavor. And lot of money is required, many helpers are required, and the specific horse that Vyasa mentioned is also not available. So Yudhishthira is not able to understand how I am going to be able to perform this yajna. I have already put to troubles my brothers like Bhima. You know the whole plot of Mahabharata, the whole story of Mahabharata. Right from the childhood, the Pandavas have undergone tremendous agony, tremendous difficulties. And Yudhishthira finds himself as an elder brother. He finds himself to be responsible for the Pandavas' miseries. So, I already given a lot of troubles to them. And the persons who were present at that time, on whom he is relying, on whom he is supposed to rely, he is counting one after another. First of all, he mentioned his brothers, younger brothers, and then he is mentioning Vrishketu, the youngest son of Karna, who is not much heard of, is not to be found in Vyasa's Mahabharata. So it's a little secret that Karna had this one more son, whose name was Vrishketu, and who was, unlike his father, was a devotee of the Lord, and he was a lover of Pandavas, a lover of Krishna. So Yudhishthira is saying that this Vrishketu, the son of Karna, is just 16, and it will be against the religious injunctions if I engage him in this warfare, if I engage him in this endeavor of going along with the horse, and because some kings are definitely going to challenge me, so he will have to fight for it. He will have to fight to protect the horse. So he's very young, he's just a kid, so I don't want to engage him in this affair. And so is the case of Meghavarna, the son of Ghatotkacha. He is also not heard of in Vyasa's Mahabharata, so it's another secret that Jaimini is revealing here. So that time Meghavarna was also quite young. So Yudhishthira is saying that his father has been killed by Karna in a battle. Also, Sri Krishna, by whose grace the Pandavas defeated all the kings, is far away. You know that Krishna always protected Pandavas. Actually, we should understand the glories of Pandavas thoroughly. If you get chance in future, I will narrate to you the story from Brihad Bhagavatamrita. There, when Narad Muni reaches Pandavas, he glorifies them. And that time you will come to know the true glories of Pandavas. Actually, the glories of Pandavas are already described in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, and also some other places here and there. The Pandavas were pure devotees of the Lord, and they were very, 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 very dear to Krishna. And Krishna specifically favored Pandavas in different ways. There it's mentioned in Brihad Bhagavatamrita. Sometimes he became Pandava's messenger also. Krishna became Arjuna's charioteer, Sarathi. That's why he's called Partha Sarathi. Krishna did many menial services for Pandavas. And he always protected, right from the childhood, he always protected them. So Yudhishthira is saying that Sri Krishna, by whose grace we have always defeated the kings, is also far away. He's not present here. So then he called for Bhima and said to him, "O mighty armed Bhima, how can I perform this sacrifice? I am pretty hopeless, because whatever is required to perform this great sacrifice is missing. I don't have it. I don't have them. So how can I wash away the sin accrued from the family massacre? And also, this sacrifice is full of many obstacles." Yudhishthira could foresee what obstacles he is going to face in performing this sacrifice. First of all, the very task of procuring such a horse was difficult. Where this horse is available, and who is going to procure such a horse, and how we are going to get so many helpers, how we are going to get a lot of wealth to perform these yajna, how, and there will be many kings, very chivalrous kings, very difficult to conquer. Such kings will be there in future. So, but I don't have any helpers, many helpers. So Yudhishthira was worried about this. So he again expressed that same lamentation, that how can I wash away the sin accrued from the family massacre? And also, if it remains incomplete, then I will be the object of ridicule. So that time Bhima was present there. Bhima, Meghavarna and Vrishketu were there that time, along with the Pandavas. So Bhima said, why did you say that neither horse nor money nor Krishna is there along with us? Bhima is now reminding Yudhishthira that we have, this yajna is, we can perform, it's doable, this task is doable. Krishna always remains by your side. And when Krishna is nearby, all riches by themselves are there, because Krishna is Lakshmipati. So, because Yudhishthira was worried about various obstacles and Krishna not being present there, so Bhima is saying that Krishna always remains by your side, although you are not able to see him now. And also, as far as the money part is there, because Krishna is Lakshmipati, definitely there is no scarcity of any wealth also. And Bhima is explaining the power of the holy name, that simply by uttering Krishna's names, people become free from all sins. So if Krishna himself stands by your side, how much blessed you must be. Because Yudhishthira was worried about the sins that he had performed by killing his family members. So Bhima is saying that simply by chanting his holy name, one can become free from all the sinful activities. So Krishna is always standing by your side. So you can imagine how blessed you are. And this is my humble opinion, that even without doing the Ashwamedh Yajna, Madhav will purify you and wash out the sins of family slaughter. Even before the war started, Sri Krishna, because you know the whole story, that Arjun actually didn't want to fight. And Pandavas actually were never attached to kingdom. Yudhishthira was always worried about following dharma. Many people have this misunderstanding that this fratricidal war between Pandavas and Kauravas took place because of kingdom. It's not entirely true. The battle took place for the sake of dharma actually. That's why this yuddha, this war was dharma yuddha. That's why the first word of Bhagavad Gita, dharma kshetra kurukshetra samaveta yudsava. Because this battle took place in the dharma kshetra. Kurukshetra was dharma kshetra, and the whole war was fought for dharma. At least the Pandavas fought for dharma. So Pandavas were never attached to the kingdom. The Pandavas were always attached to following dharma, always attached to Krishna. They always wanted to please Krishna. So Krishna from the very beginning told Pandavas to fight. So whatever massacre took place, actually that was by Krishna's instruction. So Bhima is reminding Yudhishthira, how can you forget this? And also, if one performs Rajasuya and Ashwamedh Yajna without Krishna keeping in the center, such yajnas are not able to purify anyone. The sole purpose of performing such yajnas is to please Krishna. So without Krishna, these yajnas are not competent to purify a person. We find this in Bhagavad Gita also, that Krishna is the true beneficiary of all the yajnas. Bhoktaram yagyatapasam sarvalakam maheshwaram suradam sarvabhutanam gyatavam shanti vrichyati. So Bhima is reminding Yudhishthira of this fact. As far as the horse is concerned, the suitable horse is concerned, because Vyasa described earlier a very specific kind of horse. So he's saying, you better ask Maharshi Vyasa where I can find this horse. He may let us know the whereabouts of the horse, anywhere on the surface of the earth. Anywhere the horse is there, such horse is there, I'll find it and get it for you. So Yudhishthir was morose and he was gloomy, he was sad, he was not able to, he was not feeling very confident at that time. But Bhima encouraged him and convinced him. He tried to persuade him that this yajna is doable, we can perform. Whatever is lacking, we'll find out. So Jaimini said that having heard the speech of valorous Bhima, Vyasa again spoke to Yudhishthira and Bhima both. Vyasa said, Dhanyosi Virabhadram te. God bless you. Because the speech of Bhima was very encouraging. All of you are blessed. Now Vyasa is informing the suitable horse is there in Bhadravati Puri, which is far away from here. And Yavanashva has this horse, Shyamakarna Ashva. Yavanashva, the introduction of Yavanashva is given in other places also. Yavanashva was actually son of Yuvanashva. And Yuvanashva was another name of King Mandhata. So Yavanashva was the son of King Mandhata. The son of Yuvanashva, that's why he's called Yavanashva. So Vyasa is saying the brave Yavanashva with his 10 Akshauhini Sena protects this horse day and night. Now I will explain what 1 Akshauhini means. This is given in the Adi Parva of Mahabharata, 2nd chapter, verses 15 through 23. An Akshauhini is described in the Mahabharata as a battle formation consisting of 21,870 chariots, 21,870 elephants, 65,610 horses, and 109,350 infantry. That's those who walk. As per the Mahabharata. Thus, 1 Akshauhini consisted of 218,700 warriors. The ratio is 1 chariot is to 1 elephant, is to 3 cavalry, is to 5 infantry soldiers. So this is the measure of Akshauhini. So Yavanashva with his 10 Akshauhini Sena safeguards this horse day and night. The horse is not unattended even for a second. And what to speak of human beings, even Vayudev cannot approach this horse. It's a figure of speech. That means it's very difficult to capture this horse. Just as a miserly person is vigilant in guarding his wealth, treasure, so does the king protect the horse all the time. He's so much attached to this horse because his horse is very valuable. Yavanashva knew this horse is very valuable. So who is competent enough to bring that horse for the fulfillment of Yudhishthira? Jaimini is saying to Janamejai, after hearing Vyasa, Bhimsen smiled and said, I'll get this horse forcibly. I'll go alone, defeat that mighty king along with his army. Bhimsen is always confident because Bhimsen had full confidence, full faith in Krishna's protection. Earlier to this incident, also Bhima had performed so many Herculean tasks. If you read the description of the battlefield of Kurukshetra, the battle of Kurukshetra, you'll find how powerfully and how ferociously Bhimsen fought and killed all the Kauravas, all the 100 Kauravas. And it was not so easy to kill all of them. Also, apart from that, Bhima killed so many other warriors, so many big elephants. And these elephants of the war are not ordinary, they are mad elephants. So Bhima is always confident because he is son of Vayudev. So Vayudev is considered to be very, very powerful. The most powerful demigod among all the demigods. As far as the physical strength is concerned, Vayudev is considered to be the most powerful. So Bhimsen was son of Vayudev. So he was pretty confident that I will go alone and defeat Yavanashva along with his army. There is no doubt about it. Along with that, Jaimini is also expressing the devotion that Bhima had for Krishna. So Bhima is saying, Vasudevam chintayano nara karma karotiya sarvata siddhim labate satyametat brahmimite. Saying that if one begins a particular task remembering Vasudev, then nothing is undoable. He can perform any action, he can perform any task, and that is always success. It is a fact. So here Bhima is talking about performing any action for the pleasure of Krishna, because Pandavas always wanted to please Krishna. They were always in deep love with Krishna. So whatever endeavor Pandavas did was always to please Krishna. So he said that if you remember Krishna always, because Pandavas always wanted to do something for Krishna, so if we remember Krishna, then there is definitely going to be success. There is no doubt about it. So Bhimsen had absolutely no doubt about that. So we have to actually learn many things from Jaimini's narration of Mahabharata, this Ashwamedh Parva. There are many nice instructions regarding dharma and the supreme dharma, that is bhakti. So here we should learn how Bhima had full confidence in Krishna. If one gives up Vasudev, then whatever penance or sacrifice is done, it will all go in vain, just like the attempts of an unlucky person. Sometimes we see in this world that an unlucky person, whatever task he undertakes, he's always a failure, he's a loser. Modern people are fond of saying this word, loser. That's unlucky person. Whatever he performs goes in vain. So if somebody performs any penance or sacrifice without caring for Krishna, without caring for Vasudeva, all his attempts will go in vain. So Bhima is then taking a vow that if I cannot bring this horse, I may fall into hell. I may be awarded the regions that are due for those who killed their own parent if I come back without the horse. What fate is meted out to those regenerate who live in the village where there is only single well? What fate meets to a person residing even for a moment in the village where there is no study of Vedas nor worship of Shiva? That fate may meet to me. Having so said, Bhima became silent. So Bhima is saying that if I cannot bring this horse, I will meet the same fate. So he is taking this vow. I should meet the same fate that is met by a person who live in the village there is only one single well. What it means? What does it mean? It means that in the village there should be many wells for people of different varnas. There are many rules regarding the drinking and eating habits of people of different varnas, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. So Brahmanas used to have their own wells, Kshatriya used to have their own wells, Vaishya used to have their own wells, and Shudra used to have their own wells. In fact, the entire village actually belongs to the people of different varnas. Like one particular village is only for the Brahmanas. One another village is only for the Kshatriyas, like that. It's not that there were only villages, there were many cities also, like Hastinapur, Dwarka, there were Puris, there are big cities, metropolis. And there also, all the people of all the varnas used to follow all the rules and regulations pertaining to their particular varnas. So if somebody lives in a village when there is only one well, that means all the people of that village are drinking water from the same well. So it is irreligious. It is considered to be a dharma. So Bhima is saying that I will meet the same fate if I cannot bring the horse. I will meet the same fate that a person who lives in a village where there is only single well. And also, if a person lives in a village where there is no study of the Veda, like nowadays we are living in sinful places, all the cities, all the places that we are living now, there is no study of the Veda. Nobody really cares about dharma, nobody cares about the Vedas or religious scriptures, hardly any. So basically the places nowadays, the towns and villages and cities of Kali Yuga mostly they are sinful. So Bhima is saying that if I cannot bring this horse for Yudhishthira, then I'll meet the same fate that a person who lives in a village where there is no study of the Veda, nor worship of Lord Shiva or Vishnu. Because if one lives in a village where there is no Vedas and there is no Shivalaya and there is no temple for Lord Vishnu, such places are considered to be sinful. So after saying this, Bhima became silent. So that means Bhima was pretty confident because Bhima can never perform any sinful activity. The fact is the Pandavas throughout their lives never performed even a single sinful activity. That we should remember. Many people have misconceptions in this regard. And as we progress in the upcoming videos, I'll try to clear all the misconceptions about the Pandavas in the different incidents of Mahabharata. Yudhishthira said, "O mighty arm Bhima, Bhimsena Mahabaho, Grahanam Turagasya me." Turag means horse. Vishamam Bhati Hridaye, Tvaye Kena Vrikodara. So Yudhishthira is saying, "O mighty arm Bhima, you are taking a vow and you are claiming that you will capture the horse alone, but it seems to be a very Herculean task. Vishamam Bhati Hridaye. It's a very difficult task. Because Yavanashva is a man of great prowess. He's a very powerful man because Yudhishthira, all the Pandavas heard how powerful Yavanashva was. And so are his brave warriors. If you go alone, that will be a matter of great concern to me. I am very concerned that, you are ekaki tatra gantasi chintatu mahati mama. I'm worried if you go alone, ekaki, if you go alone, chintatu mahati mama. I have great worry in that regard. What will happen? Jaimini said, after hearing what Yudhishthira said, the son of Karna, that was Vrishketu, said, he spoke like this. He said, "O Bhimsen, take me as your second, take me as your helper. I will accompany you. And there should be no delay in this regard." Hare Krishna.